morning. Today is Monday, May 26, 2014, and this is Before the First Cup with Sori and Lady Pitbull. Good morning, Lady.
Hi, how are you?
Waking up. How are you?
Coughing.
Oh. Okay. Right. That's a good way to start the morning. Clear them lungs.
It's real. It's a very beautiful morning here. I woke up and I walked out onto my deck and I saw a bird that I haven't seen like before, and I checked my bird book and it was kind of a rare bird, and I don't know, it was just really cool. And then I saw a deer that was nestled in the grass across the river, and it just kind of stood up and stretched and walked away. It was really kind of a nice couple of moments out there.
That's a perfect morning.
It really is.
Oh,
it's
man.
Nice. So
Here the sun's barely coming up.
So it's Memorial Day, everybody. And it's hard to kind of say Happy Memorial Day because...
Right, huh?
How the hell are you going to be happy when you're mourning, like, the vets? Yeah. Especially the way they've been treated.
Yeah, and more comes out every day about it, you know.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. And how anyone would join the military still is beyond me. You know, I mean, when it's out even in the mainstream media, it's coming out. How they're letting them die and all that. It's disgusting.
It is, totally. So, I can't really say Happy Memorial Day, but it is the unofficial start to summer, and I was laying out in the sun yesterday, and just, it was weird. It was a perfectly blue sky day, except that they had these relatively short chemtrail lines, like 4 or 5 of them, all in a row, all in a nice, like, one after the other succession, went over the sun over my head, and then it was clear again, nothing. And it was, you know, usually the chemtrail lines are long in the sky. These were, like, short, and then progressed, like, bam, 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 like one after the other. And it was really odd and strange. And of course, you know, they had that same rainbow hue as they passed over the sun. Mm. And, it was just, that was it. The rest of the sky was all, nice and blue. It was like cloudless virtually, and,
well, there's different types of chemtrails. Now, they're the kind that they don't last very long at all. You don't see them. They go up and then they dissipate real fast. But yeah, what it is the wind. They use the wind and the jet stream and stuff to move the chemicals to where they want them. And so you'll see them spraying sometimes, but you still have a blue sky. And it's they're putting different things in different, trails, I'm hearing. So, yeah. Just because you don't see them don't mean they're not up there.
Oh, right. Well, that's true. But I thought the ones that dissipated behind the planes were actual contrails.
Now that I've learned is you will probably never see a real contrail in your life. I just found, you know, I've been reading on this, and Dane even talked about it. And the jets are made not to put anything out. And the ice crystals and everything we've been taught, I guess it seems that's all been a lie, and that's how they introduced the chemtrails all the way back to World War II, right after World War II. That's when they started introducing them so that people would think that it was normal, and then it just progressed from there.
Yeah. Well, once after you're born, and then you see that most of your life, and then your children see it, and then your children's children see it, yeah, it becomes normal after that.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people think it's normal for these big, long, checkerboard skies.
Yep.
Yeah, they'll swear, no, it's always been like that. You know, and no, sorry, it's only been like that for about 10, 15 years.
Yeah, I don't remember that crap when I was a kid, and I used to lay out and stare at the sky all the time. Mm-hmm. I was a cloud watcher and a bird watcher. I still am.
Yep.
you can't watch any more real clouds anymore, although when the big, giant, wonderful-looking thunderheads develop, those are totally bitchin', and those aren't chemtrails, those are actual thunderhead clouds, so...
Yeah. And those on our trip, both Linda and I both are cloud watchers, and we'd be going, wow, do you see that big elephant there with the big front?
Yeah, that's pretty fun to do.
Driving down the road, yeah.
It's fun to do, especially when you're traveling, I always watch out for hawks. That's what I do when I go on a road trip. I count the hawks, the amount of how many hawks that I see. It's easier to see them in the wintertime because there's no leaves, but sometimes you'll see them.
Yeah.
I just like doing that.
Yeah.
So, unofficial start of summer.
Our lake is full of houseboats and all the college kids up here, and they all get out on the houseboats and party, and
that would be fun, actually.
Oh yeah, houseboat on the river. On the lake is just it's a blast. You see all these bonfires at night. It's cool.
Yeah, there's an event around here, and I don't even know when it is, but there's a lake that everybody goes to with a little island in the middle of it, and everybody parks their boats around the island, and then they tie all their boats up together around the island, and it's just like a giant party of hopping from boat to boat to boat to the island, and you know what I mean? Everybody's doing something different, and everybody's getting wasted, and then the sheriffs are on the perimeter prowling for drugs, So it's I don't know, it's quite a spectacle out here, that one party. I've never attended it, but the news cameras hover over it and all this crap, so it's an interesting party.
Yeah, the 4th of July is the big college, like the river here. Everyone gets on the river and rafts, inner tubes, whatever will float with their beer behind them and everything.
Yeah.
Oh God, it is so funny because they usually start here and end in Chico. And then most of them are so drunk. If you want new rafts and stuff, go down there. They leave brand new canvas rafts. They leave everything. And off to downtown they go. It is hilarious.
That's pretty, that would be fun, like drinking down the river or drinking, you know what I mean? That'd be fun.
Oh, it's a blast. And I'm talking hundreds.
Have you ever done it?
I have my own raft. I go on the river all summer long.
Well, do you ever do it when the rest of them were doing it all wasted?
Oh, yeah.
That's fun. And then you have the little string and the little tiny raft behind you carrying your beer. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, or else the rope with the beer hanging down there, or else like us, we like mixed drinks, so we have our little bar in the raft. But, yeah, it is. It's a blast. Everybody has a good time. The sad thing is there's usually 1 or 2 deaths every year by, people not being careful when they're drinking, but...
that's called being a dumbass.
Well, not really. See, our river, they keep it super, super cold. Most people die from hypothermia than drowning because they keep it real cold for the salmon. You get weak.
Wait a minute. They keep it real cold. How do they keep a river cold?
By releasing water constantly through there. Usually, they release some water, and then as the day goes on, the sun heats it up.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give it a chance. Our river's always high here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they release from the bottom of the lake where it's coldest.
Oh, very nice. Well, there you go. That's always good to have a nice cold river.
Yeah, but not that cold because, I fell in one time. My friend was goofing off. Well, because I didn't tell her we were coming up to some guys and she was laying without her top on. And I said, don't get up now, think you're a boy. But anyway, she goes, oh, you didn't tell me. She threw me in the river, and I swear I was so weak. Instantly, almost, I could, it started to take effect. She had to yank me out. So,
wow.
Yeah, it is you can't go swimming in that river. Not, out in the deep part. So anyway, but then when you get drunk, then you don't feel the cold, so. But it is a fun time. You got so many people out there just hollering and music playing and all kinds of shit.
Well, I mean, the idea is just to have a few drinks and then you get to that point where you're like, okay, I'm feeling this shit now. I'm gonna just ride this frickin' river. You know what I mean? You don't get like totally obliterated where you don't know, where you can't even remember frickin' going down there in the first place, man. I mean, what the hell is the fun in that, you know?
You know, in college, the main thing is you gotta get drunk.
Right.
I don't know, I was there too. I mean, we've all been there. It was stupid, but, you know, it's what you do when you're young and full of ump.
Yeah. I won't say it. Young and dumb. Okay.
Anyway, yeah.
That thing's crazy, man. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, it is. So I'm gonna leave it up to you for start off with some news, because like I said, I got up late. I didn't prepare at all. I'm a bad girl.
Oh, don't worry. I got it. I was just kind of procrastinating before going to the extreme bummer parts. I know what I mean, of what today represents.
Yeah, you know, we were always supposed to be the good guys, and you know, in a way, I mean, you have mixed feelings now when you find out all the horrific things we've done, and we're supposed to be the good guys. It kind of like throws you off balance, I think.
It's designed to do that.
Yeah.
The Hopi Indians called it Koyaanisqatsi. It means life out of balance. And there's a movie you can see on YouTube called that, and don't ask me to freaking spell that, please. It's called Koyaanisqatsi, and Philip Glass did the musical score on that thing, and I just detest Philip Glass with like every ounce of my being. That guy just makes me sick. I think he's one of them. So, and his music is, I don't know, but it's got a Philip Glass score, and it's, you know, Philip Glass is repetitive, and, you know, he does the same tunes over and over, and he's on a lot of commercials, and yuck, you know, the dude's a wanker. But the idea of the film, in fact, in of itself, it's a very good film to watch, because our lives are out of balance, and the Hopis knew it. The Hopis saw it spiraling into this cavernous abyss, and I think we are in the deep dark part, going deeper. So I don't know. I'm trying to I feel like so great right now, like I got a lot of sleep last night. I just took my vitamins just now and just loaded up on some B, and I'm feeling awesome, like I want to go work out. However, the state of the world does not follow what I'm feeling inside. So, and we gotta be reminded of the bad bits as well.
Right. But you can't live under illusion.
Yeah. So, but today, thousands of bikers were in Washington for rallies, for POWs.
That was great. I did see that last night.
Yeah, which is awesome, man. And I freaking love bikes and bikers, and that just, I live I've got a road less than 20 feet from my house. That's the front of my house, is the main road. It's an actual, minor interstate that I live on, and then the back of my house is like the river. So, but I mean, the Harleys, dude, when they cruise by my house, it shakes everything, and it's just,
and they're like thunder.
Yeah, and especially when the biker gangs cruise by my house, dude. Oh my god, I run to the window every time. Because
I have a lot of friends that have Harleys. We like to ride a lot.
Oh my god, I love it, and I'm dying to go on a motorcycle ride this summer. So anybody who's got a bike, man, give me a ride.
I love the mountains. I don't like riding in the city, but the mountains, that just curving, going up the mountains, Oh, I'm in heaven.
Yeah, so kudos to all the bikers. It says thousands of bikers roared through Washington for the annual Rolling Thunder Rally on Sunday, given added fervor this year amid anger among the ongoing scandal concerning medical care for veterans. So now Obama's got another scandal under his belt, and so we'll call this VA Gate. How about if I just named it? We'll name it VA Gate. So, and that goes with all the other gates he's got going on. We can count. I mean, I can't even.
And he's known about this since 2008.
Absolutely. So we've got IRS Gate going on. We've got Benghazi Gate. We've got Fast and Furious Gate going on. I mean, so you put this in. Let's time to close this damn gate. What do you say, folks? All right, let me keep going here. Organizers estimated about 750,000 bikers. Yay, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Could you imagine hearing them coming down the road?
Man, that's awesome. Yeah, they can't stop bikes from going over that bridge. So this makes a really good statement, and a loud one at that. Alright, 750,000 bikers and spectators had descended on the U.S. Capitol for the annual Eve of Memorial Day rally in support of American prisoners of war and those missing in action, as they have each year since 1988. That's totally cool. The awe-inspiring show of motorcycle might includes many U.S. military veterans on bikes, clearly identifiable in leather jackets emblazoned with military badges and medals. Dude, that rocks. Because, really, people, if anybody knows history of, bikers and motorcycle gangs, it all started from the vets, coming back, and they just, wanted to hang out still, and why not better on the back of a motorcycle, man? Okay. Let's see. Henry, 58, traveled from Maine in northeastern United States with his wife and 5 other bikers. He said he was not surprised by the recent scandal gripping Veterans Affairs Department over delays in care to U.S. military personnel blamed for dozens of deaths. I'm 70% disabled. I know all about the VA, and it didn't come as a surprise, he said. We fought for years to get benefits we were entitled to. No, it's outrageous. But what can you do about it? Not much. We may have the best army in the world, but treat the veterans terribly, especially veterans from Vietnam and Korea. Gary Scheffmeyer, president of Rolling Thunder Organization of Vietnam Veterans, said his group has been aware of the problems with military care for veterans. He says, sorry guys, hang on just 2 secs. I've been using the VA system for about 30 years, and I've been treated very well. He said, now we've known of problems with different VAs throughout the country, and this is the most blatant one. Scheffmeyer said he did not want the current scandal to overshadow the principal purpose of Rolling Thunder, which was to draw attention to the fate of American POWs and those missing in action. He rallied against the lack of progress in securing the freedom of Bo Bergado, a 28-year-old American soldier held hostage by Taliban forces in Afghanistan since 2009. As far as the POW issue, we complain to them all the time, but the government has only one POW in Afghanistan, sorry guys, I'm butchering that name, Bo Bergado, who they just didn't do anything about, he said. Scheffmeyer also maintains American POWs are still being held in Vietnam nearly 4 decades. Right. And on from the end of the war, estimated 1,500 American soldiers remain missing in Vietnam. As far as the Americans missing in Southeast Asia, they don't do anything about that. They just want to bring home remains, which is great, but there's still a lot of Americans who are reported alive in Vietnam and who never came home, he said. So that's crazy.
It's insane, but it's true. They have been fighting to get them, to make them go, in and get them or make some kind of deal. And, it gets put in the back burner because of all everything else is so important. What about our guys? I mean, when a young man joins the military, they usually join for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
But, like you and I, we will never know the horrors of of war, what it's really like. That's Most of them join because they watch movies all their lives about, how great the soldier was and everything. They go over there with all these high hopes, and then they learn just how bad it is. That's why they come back and they rebel. And that's why the government's so afraid of them when they come home.
Yeah, it's like one big vicious circle. And they go over there, and then they find out how it really is, and they find out the truth of why they're there.
Yeah.
And that is I think
not for our freedom.
Not at all. And then they were lied to, and then they come home, and they're lied to some more. You know what I mean? And when these recruiters go out in these high schools and they go to these events and try to recruit, they paint such a big ass line of BS about all the benefits and we're going to take care of your college and blah 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 blah. I mean, what? It's just and so kids just kind of go, yeah, man, I could do that, or whatever. And then
a lot of the poor, that's their only way out, I mean, a lot of the poor join because of those benefits that you're promised. And what they do, I mean, they've already cut their benefits even.
That's right. That's right. And they don't hold to their word, on the part of the government's, side. So, yeah, they're gonna get pissed off. You know what I mean? They're gonna get really angry eventually. And, we pretty much already know where it's all going to go, and it just sucks. There's no reason why. And then Obama's all outraged by this thing that another, the head of the VA shouldn't have been letting this happen and all this crap, and we all know he's full of shit.
And isn't the executive in charge of the military? Yeah.
Yeah, he's the commander-in-chief. So guess what, dude? The buck rests with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, come on. But we all know it's by design. We all know why. So, and it just sucks. I could just see that in Vietnam, there's guys like running all over the place, and I can see some of them like falling in love with a local and, going off and, having a family, you know what I mean? And just staying there because, they don't, want to come back home. So there's probably a lot of them like that, but, the fact that there's prisoners still being kept is crazy.
Right. Why haven't they negotiated to get them home? It's like they're just forgotten, the forgotten soldier.
Yeah, but they can go around all in the Middle East and, spring like, like the Al-Qaeda prisoners out of the prisons in freaking Iraq. I mean, they can do all kinds of crap. Why don't they just send, I don't know, because
they don't care.
There's no excuses for it. There really isn't. They should have been home by now. And there shouldn't be any more POWs if you're not in a war with a country.
And too, there's the other side where, so many, of the soldiers, when they're over there, it brings out evil that may never have come out in their whole lives. And, because they're constantly being made to be hurtful to people that haven't done anything. Like that one soldier said, I just forever in my mind is when I was dragging this family from their home, and then I came home and found out I had no home.
Right. This is pretty much what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, jeez. I don't know. I just, my heart goes out to everybody who's still a POW that shouldn't have been. I mean, I'm sure there's still, POWs in Korea?
I wouldn't doubt it. And look at the families. I mean, and they're not listened to. Just like the families of 9/11. They don't get heard.
Right. I heard those two were exchanging gunfire, by the way, South and North Korea.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oh yeah. That was of a couple days ago. There was a story out about that. But, not to get sidetracked, I'm sure that there's gotta be, God, could you imagine being a POW in freaking North Korea? There's
Anywhere.
Probably,
well, yeah. Can you imagine being a POW in our prison system? I mean, we're just as evil.
That's true.
I mean, Gitmo, yeah.
Well, here's an article that kind of is in the same vein of what we're talking about. Marine hero stuck in Mexican prison on gun charges. So, let's read this. As Americans celebrate Memorial Day, a U.S. Marine who served 2 tours in Afghanistan is rotting in a Mexican jail. Sergeant Andrew, sorry, here goes another butchering of the name, guys. I don't mean to do this. Tamorsi, I think that's what it is. Let me start again. Sergeant Andrew Tamorsi, who has PTSD and recently moved to San Diego for treatment, took a wrong turn in his Ford pickup and crossed the border with 3 weapons on March 31st. Dude, that sucks.
And it's easy to do down there, believe me. I used to live down at Chula Vista. Yeah. It really? Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't know. I've never ever been there.
Yeah, we used to go down there and party all the time.
Oh, shit. Alright, well, good lord, guys. We'll hit this, I don't know. Now the sergeant, a gunner who once saved 3 Marines trapped in a canal by mowing down insurgents from his turret, is facing weapons trafficking charges and 21 years behind bars as he stews at a maximum security prison 40 miles outside Tijuana. What? This sucks. This man this is a man who fought for our freedom, Tamorsi's mother, Jill, told the Post. He's an American hero. Mexican authorities, are treating him like a common criminal. We're looking at no extradition and a trial that's possibly 2 years from now, she added. Holy crap. Mexican presidents can't pardon prisoners, but the nation's attorney general can intervene. A hearing is set for Wednesday. Tamorsi, 25, was driving to meet friends when he got lost at the San Isidro, California checkpoint, his family said. Did I pronounce that right? Isidro?
Escondido?
No.
Oh, it's there. Maybe. I haven't heard of that county, but yeah.
Okay, guys, I got sidetracked. I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm totally lost here. Okay, Mexican presidents can't pardon prisoners, but okay, I just read that. It's Isidro, Ysidro. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. The Marine called 911 minutes before he was arrested by customs agents who found an AR-15 rifle, 45 caliber pistol, and a 12-gauge pump action shotgun in his trunk. Jill Tamorsi of Weston, Florida, said her son had all his possessions, including the restricted weapons, but because he hadn't yet found a place to live in San Diego. She said her son has been losing his bearings since suffering concussions during an improvised explosive device blast in Afghanistan in 2010 and a fall in 2012. After his arrest, the reservist he was homeless, you guys. This guy was this hero, right? Was totally freaking homeless in San Diego. Oh man, this gets worse. After his arrest, the reservist was held in La Mesa Penitentiary general population. After threats on his life, he tried to escape. Oh, great! He was transferred to a federal prison in Tecate, where he has a private cell and armed guards. At least he's not fearing every minute of his life, but he is certainly fearful of ever regaining his freedom, she said. Several U.S. lawmakers, including Representative Duncan Hunter of California, are fighting for his release. Secretary of State John Kerry raised the issue during meetings in Mexico last week, and the hero has been visited by U.S. consulate officials. But his mom says he needs more support. A WhiteHouse.gov petition asking President Obama to take action had more than 64,000 signatures on Saturday. We only have a few more days, Jill Tahamorsi said. Please consider supporting it. Supporters are planning freedom rallies and protests at American consulates. So there we go. That would be a prisoner of, I don't know, the drug war maybe? Of course there's no drugs involved. I don't know, guys.
Mexico has very strict rules about owning guns, for one thing. You know, the government could step in there. They could get him released. I mean, it's all for show.
It is. And look at look at freaking Eric Holder. He's like totally guilty of running guns to Mexico. I mean, what the hell? And this poor guy is like made a mistake and took the wrong turn? What the hell? That's just freaking outrageous.
That's how we treat our vets.
This is sickening. And he was freaking homeless, you guys.
Yeah. You know, and the checkpoint, I'm wondering, you know, I mean, it must have been on the Mexico side though, I guess. But it's been known to have the Mexican checkpoints, you know, being over the border. That's come up a few times.
Right. Yeah. And well, it's, oh, really? Like, the actual Mexican checkpoints?
Well, how
the hell did that happen?
Well, you know, they found, you know, Mexican police and military over on the Texas side. That happened a few years back, and nothing ever happens though. And people, you know, wonder what they're doing there. It's a mess, you know. But I mean, I don't know what to say. This poor guy, you know. I mean, that's our justice system, you know, if they can bring more attention to it and get the news in there and get people pissed, then something will happen. But if they don't, he'll rot.
Right. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. There is something playing in my ear and I hope it's not going out over the air.
I don't hear anything.
Okay. Keep talking because I gotta find where this is playing.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, they found, 23 more vets died because of delays in their appointments, because of that second ledger of, you know, they're just letting them die. Just like they let the 9/11 first responders, they just let them die. You know, and people's memories are so short that, you know, before long there's something else that's going to take your mind off of it. And it's important to keep this in the forefront, or that poor kid is going to spend the rest of his life in a jail in Mexico.
Yeah, and it's so not founded. I mean, it's just so unfounded. I don't know. This is really, really a bad deal, and John Kerry's just going to sit there with his thumb up his butt, and Obama's not going to pay any attention to it whatsoever. So
Obama's in Afghanistan, you know, he played
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yup, I've got, I have a little blurb about that, actually. Yeah, so he made a surprise visit. Oh, look, I'm supporting the troops. You
know? I went up there to drop off a bag of money. I wouldn't doubt it.
Oh, sure. Well, I'll tell you another thing that he went over there for. It says, surprise, Obama administration ousts Kabul CIA chief during Obama's Afghanistan visit. So he had more than a few reasons to go over there. So it says an unidentified Obama administration official exposed the name of the highest-ranking CIA officer in Kabul on Saturday by accidentally placing it on a list of names provided to a bunch of media outlets. The list contained the names of several senior U.S. officials who took part in a military briefing during Obama's surprise Memorial Day visit to Afghanistan. To glad hand with the troops, the reports the Washington Post. The list candidly described the head of the clandestine service in Kabul as the chief of station. The CIA specifically uses the title to refer to the top spy station in every country around the world. The unidentified CIA station chief was among 15 senior officials who gave Obama a military briefing at Bagram Airfield at the largest U.S. military base in Afghanistan.
Now you have to wonder, what are they up to?
Right. Other non-covert officials at the meeting included a 4-star general, Joseph F. Dunford, Jr., a Marine who commands all U.S. and coalition forces in Afghanistan, and James B. Cunningham, the U.S. ambassador to the country. The White House press office included the name of the CIA chief along with the other officials present at the briefing. The press office distributed the list via email to journalists in Afghanistan with Obama on his surprise visit.
Doesn't sound like it was such a surprise, does it?
Well, I don't know. They seem to be purging high-level people right, left, and center, and that's why this sent a red flag off in my head, because of the purges going on. Now seems like they're purging further. The CIA officer's name became more widely circulated later when it was included in a pool report, quote-unquote pool report, summarizing the military briefing for media organizations which were not involved in Obama's Memorial Day foray into Afghanistan. The pool report went to over 6,000 recipients. Several member foreign media were among the recipients of the pool report. Washington Post White House Bureau Chief Scott Wilson first noticed the mention of CIA's top man in Afghanistan on the pool report. He alerted Obama administration press officials in Afghanistan. Wilson said the White House press staff didn't care at first. They just blamed military officials for giving them the list. However, when senior White House officials learned about the revelation, they hastily issued an updated list of the individuals at the military briefing. On the second list, the CIA officer's name was scrubbed. By that time, whole fracas had been tweeted throughout the CIA's, though without the CIA's official name.
I wonder what his name is. I wonder who he is.
American media organizations are withholding the name of the CIA officer who has his cover completely blown because of the surprise visit by President Barack Obama. So this was an accident? Like,
sure it was.
Whoopsie, they put his name on there and now, holy shit, we have to remove him? This is like what? This is weird. Let me read the last sentence. One reason is because Obama administration officials have warned that the lives of the CIA boss and his family members might be at risk if the name becomes even more widely disseminated. Wow. Hang on. That's kind of bizarre. I think there's more to this story.
There's gotta be. And all those head guys all in the same place, and Obama's visit was a surprise. I don't think so.
Yeah, this is weird. So it does go on. Actually, there is more to the story, and I want to keep going because it's very strange, and it's worth noting. I think. It says, the Intelligence Identities Protection Act of 1982 makes it a federal crime for anyone with access to classified information to intentionally expose the identity of individuals who are working in a covert capacity for the United States, unless the U.S. government has already revealed the relationship publicly. That is weird. So they would just release this freaking press thing with this dude's name on it. Yeah, he was there, Yeah,
the head of the CIA? Wow.
So now, does this sound like too weird to anybody? Okay. It sounds weird. As the Post notes, prior to the Obama presidency, the federal government had typically managed to avoid blowing the cover of its spies. There is precedent, however. In 2007, a federal judge sentenced Republican Ludus Scooter Libby, chief of staff to then by Vice President Dick Cheney, to 30 months of hard time and a fine of $250,000 for leaking the covert identity of CIA employee Valerie Plame Wilson. So I remember that Valerie Plame stuff.
Too.
Yeah. Libby was not convicted for intentionally spilling Plame's identity. Instead, he was convicted for perjury, making false statements to federal investigators, and obstruction of justice. President George W. Bush later commuted the prison sentence portion of Libby's sentence, but left the other parts intact. Oh, thanks, Georgie. Libby was later disbarred in both Pennsylvania and the District of Criminals. Beyond warning journalists not to reveal the name of the CIA chief of station in Afghanistan, Obama's White House refused to comment on the embarrassing situation.
And this one has that topped by
one more freaking paragraph. Nope. The CIA also refused to comment, and it's not clear how the huge federal spy apparatus will react. The organization certainly has a large presence in Afghanistan. At the same time, as the Post notes, the station chief is likely to be among the spies personally snooping around the war-ravaged country. In recent years, at least 3 CIA station chiefs in neighboring Pakistan have had their covers blown. That is a really big deal there, that last sentence.
Process of elimination, maybe?
Yep. So there is some crap. So there's some covert crap going on within the CIA on itself.
Mm-hmm.
This crap is so someone's going CIA on the CIA's ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's crazy. Oh my God. You gotta wonder if that crap was totally intentional.
Oh, of course it was.
Yeah, I mean, it's, come on here, use the cloak of Memorial Day and shaking hands while your crew is off doing a oopsie blunder, you know what I mean? Come on. That shit doesn't happen in a vacuum.
Now when that CIA head guy disappears, no one will be surprised.
Right. This is just total BS, man. Something else is going on here. Alright. Let's see. I accidentally clicked off another story. So, let's keep talking about veteran stuff, cause we gotta keep doing that. All of this healthcare stuff, the VA is, hang on, go ahead and say some stuff about the healthcare and what they're doing there, because I'm just going to get a couple of swigs of water here, okay? Sorry?
Sorry, I'm talking away and I'm muted up. Okay.
Oh, you were talking, you thought you were
Yes.
on? Okay. So
Okay.
I'm going to lead into a hospital story, so
Okay.
just let me get a few swigs before I start that.
Okay. What I'm looking for is this one where at the Riverside National Veterans Cemetery, they found 23 bodies that were still in the morning.
Yeah, I was going to get to that kind of later.
Okay, let me
just because that is I was going to end the whole thing with that, because that just seems like so. I don't really want it. We should get into it and lead into that, because that right there is just where all this shit's going. You know what I mean?
No.
And this is exactly how they are treating these guys, and it's absolute. It's an absolute
disrespectful. And then what do they say? Stand behind our troops, and they're always this, big push for respecting them and showing them respect and giving them honor, and then in the back room they're treating them like shit.
Yeah. So we pretty much we should do it like this. We pretty much we already went to the high schools, and then they lie to them to get them to come in and sign away. And then when they get overseas and they get into the thick of battle, and then they learn the truth about why they're really over there, especially in Afghanistan, to guard the opium fields.
Oh, yeah.
More cleaner heroin, more stronger and cheaper heroin than ever before on the streets right now. Part of the drug war.
We've been in the drug business ever since.
It's
Reagan. What was it? I went blank.
Actually,
Contras, ever since the Contras.
The Iran well, I think it went way before that, in Nixon's time too. I think we've been jerking around in some capacity. I mean,
but nothing like we are now.
Well, the Bush family, in through the early Bushes that attended Skull and Bones, that whole empire, that they made their money off the opium empire at first. Then they branched off into the other, oil and all that other, and buying up aquifers in South America. They branched off on all that, so
right.
now they're in the water business.
Yeah.
But I guess the original thing is where was I going with this? Shit.
Threw you off track, so sorry.
Well, that's alright. But we were talking about the vets and the drug war, and when they finally learn all this stuff, they get over there and then they come home, or they get injured, with the IEDs, I mean, that's happening just right and left. I guess 7,000 guys have died over there since all this started. It's just sick. And it just makes me want to freaking puke, and I just feel bad for all of our young men that are going over there and getting their freaking limbs blown off, and then they come back home, and then they're just sitting in these hospitals for, and they're just sitting there stewing, you know what I mean? I mean, sure, they're getting PTOT, physical therapy and occupational therapies, but man, it's just...
Well, that's the lucky ones that are getting treated. All those that they have sitting there waiting with cancer and all these horrible things and dying before their name even comes up.
Yeah, instead, exactly. And you heard that Marine was homeless before he landed in a Mexican jail. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's so many homeless guys out there, even as we speak.
You see them every day here on the corners.
Yeah. The VA parade is about to start in less than 10 minutes now. Right here, 2 blocks away from me. And they're all going to be parading down the street, and they stand over the bridge, and they shoot rifles into the air in a salute, and then
people will be waving their flags, just oblivious to all this.
They march down to the cemetery, and then they go to have a big meal with all the vets, at the Legion Hall over here. So, and that's like right up the river from me, the American Legion Hall is. You can see the tank from my porch. There's a big tank out there. So there's small communities that actually absolutely honor the vets in an appropriate manner, but our government treats everybody like crap. And they're over there postulating now, or prostrating. Obama's over there prostrating with those, shaking the vets of that, of those, guys in Afghanistan. And it just makes me freaking sick. And they're just, poking the hornet's nest with the stick again, with these poor guys.
Yeah. Look at every country we've gone in to bring democracy, we have completely devastated.
Absolutely. And it's all intentional.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's all intentional and the more there's no more jobs, and the more things dry up here, on our shores, the more, young men, guys out of work are going to turn to the military,
Mm-hmm.
So this is the plan. This is the whole idea behind it. And, something's got to give here, because it cannot keep going like this. So, and when they get their limbs blown off and they come back here and they go to the hospitals, it's this kind of crap that's going on. It says VA turns to private hospitals for help. The Department of Veteran Affairs says it will let more veterans obtain health care at private hospitals. That's a good deal. I've often wondered that myself.
My friend that just passed, he's a vet from Vietnam. And, when the doctor came in to talk with us, his sister told him, well, he's a vet. Will he be transferred to a vet, hospital? And the doctor said, no, they don't want nothing to do with him. They leave it up to us.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yes. Came right out of his mouth. He said, no, he'll be staying here. Yeah, they say go for it.
Wow. That's hardcore, man.
Although in a way it's good, because they'll probably get better treatment than they ever would at a VA.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was, I'm glad you interjected that. That was good. Let's see. So they're asking for private hospitals for help. So, if you're overwhelmed, ask for help, people. All right. It says Shinseki, who faces calls to resign. Shinseki, who faces calls to resign amid reports of lengthy waiting lists and preventable deaths in the VA's healthcare system, said the agency is quote, increasing the care we acquire in the community through non-VA care, unquote, according to the Associated Press. Shinseki said the agency is also attempting to boost the capacity of its own facilities to help deal with the backlog of medical treatments. The announcement comes from the department. The announcement comes as the department attempts to deal with the fallout from allegations of medical treatment backlogs employees are accused of trying to cover up. In other words, it's VA-gate. Republicans have called for President Obama to fire Shinseki, who himself is a veteran, for allowing the backlog to develop. Obama has expressed concern about the mistreatment of military veterans, and it has thus far restricted calls to remove Shinseki from his cabinet. So he'll remove, top nuclear generals from their positions for stupid-ass reasons, but this guy can hang around and continue doing what he's doing because he's doing what they want him to do.
Right.
So that's the end of that.
Yeah, there won't be any accountability. We can go through all of this, but things will not change unless the people make it change.
Exactly. And the best way to make something like this change is locally. Start at your local hospitals and, maybe go and volunteer, and push a couple of wheelchairs around. I mean, that does more help than anybody ever realizes. You know what I mean? Go once a month or once every 6 months or, something like that. I don't do that personally, I can say, but I help out at the mission down here. I'll go maybe once every month or two and help, feed the people and stuff, but hospitals scare me. That's a good deal, huh?
Hospitals scare me. I avoid them at all costs. Even going to my friend, it was hard.
Yeah, especially a VA hospital. That, you have a point there. It's true. That sucks, and it makes it so that that just, how bad that is? What we just said? I mean, damn. Something's gotta change, man, because this cannot keep going on like this.
Yeah, but people gotta come together for it, and bringing people together is so hard because there's so many prejudice and hates, and people can't get over the little stuff to pull together, and it's just so disgusting. It makes me sick to my stomach.
I know. Oh my God.
Oh, but one thing, I'm going tomorrow. I'll probably meet up with Drew to Wairika. They're showing that new documentary, Blue. Everyone should see that when they get a chance.
What's that?
Blue, a new documentary that's out that it really brings everything to the open about, the green movement and how it's destroyed parts of this country. So I'm going to go watch the premiere tomorrow in Wairika. So I'm looking forward to that.
Wow.
Yeah. But that's where people are coming together in that way. People, what we got to do is like the Monsanto thing and chemtrails. We've kind of merged the two together. And so then we got to be merging other things like the vets and everything all into one because it's all interrelated.
It is. And that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I got a real problem with all this stuff. I don't know what to say about it. I mean,
and I look in the local paper and I always follow letters to the editor, and I'm not seeing anything in there about this. That upsets me because usually people will, write in about things that are being brought to light, and I haven't seen anything about this.
Right.
So it's not good.
Not at all. I don't know. We got an hour left here, so gotta keep rolling, I guess, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I guess we should, I should go over that. Alright, I'll go over that one, and then we'll just talk about other stuff. So at least we talked about the vets for an hour, which is it's a good deal. I mean, we've got to talk about that, especially on a day like today, because
right. These guys gave up their lives for what they believed in, and to show real respect for them and honor to them, we have to keep this in the forefront so that the truth can be out there, Mm-hmm. I mean, otherwise, it's going to just fade off into the back, and they're going to continue letting these vets die, and they're not going to care for them.
They just sweep it under the rug and nobody notices. You know what I mean? It doesn't get any airplay. But then, here's the once a year. Well, let's wave the flags around in honor of the vets, just like you were saying. Yeah. And mostly it's become an excuse to... It's become kind of morphed into the celebration of the first day of summer instead of what it's really supposed to be about.
Yeah. Well, you ask people, I bet if you went out on the street and asked people, just everyday people. What does Memorial Day represent? A good portion of them wouldn't know.
Yeah. They would probably go, oh, that's the unofficial start of summer.
Right.
Let's go out and party. I mean, shit. Break out the barbecue grills.
What's his name did? He went and he asked people what the 4th of July represented, and I could not believe how many people did not know.
Yeah, that's nuts. I'm hoping. I'm hoping to go to Freedom Palooza this year, so I'm getting pretty excited about that.
Oh, yeah.
Crossing my fingers. So, that's
let's
right.
Let's get into this one about in the Riverside, because that
sure.
really blew my mind.
Okay.
You go ahead.
Oh, okay. The morgue thing?
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about? Alright. Yeah. Oh man, this one just, I don't know, it's kind of like the icing on the cake already, and I guess we'll go into other stuff, but, bodies of 28 veterans at LA County Morgue will finally receive a proper burial. This makes me so sick, you guys, I can't even deal with it. This is in LA, Los Angeles.
Riverside, it's in San Bernardino County.
Okay. The bodies of 28 veterans at the LA County Morgue were finally moved Friday for burial at the Riverside National Cemetery. Holy shit. CBS 9 pressed the LA County Coroner's Office Thursday to find out why the bodies had not yet received a proper burial after a source indicated there may have been as many as 60 veterans at the morgue for the past year and a half. Alright, WTF. Really? God, my whole stomach just turned, you guys. I mean, really. The morgue says the bodies were unclaimed as they don't know how long the veterans were there. Oh my god. The law states veterans are supposed to receive a proper burial. Really? Yeah, I'd say so. The VA, the Veterans Administration, says they were never notified the bodies were processed and ready to be buried. More than 24 bodies were transported to the Riverside National Cemetery Friday afternoon, and more could be moved as they are identified. On Friday evening, CLA 9 Stacy Butler reported the LA County Morgue and the Veterans Administration were blaming each other for the mistake. Whoopsie! Little mistake. These little mistakes seem like they keep happening now, don't they, people? Like, accidentally publishing the CIA director his name. Whoopsie! Little mistake. Butler reported from the National Cemetery where the bodies are scheduled for burial. She spoke to citizens who were outraged at how the deceased veterans were treated. I think it's incomprehensible, said Richard Burns, a Marine veteran. It's kind of sad that these people don't get the proper care they deserve, Burns said, even after death. That is just so true, you guys, man. This is making me totally sick. Every Wednesday morning, Butler reports former Marine Corporal Burns goes to the Riverside National Cemetery and volunteers to lead memorial services for the unclaimed and often indigent vets. Well, bless this guy's heart. Often Burns and a handful of volunteers are the only people in attendance. How sad is that? Really, people? How freaking sad is that? That's right. Just, and a handful of volunteers are the only people in attendance. That, oh my god, that really, really breaks my heart. These people are the forgotten soldiers. Nobody gives a rat's ass about these people who don't even have families. I mean, that just totally tears at my heartstrings, man. By email, a spokesperson for the LA County Morgue pointed a finger at the VA. They wrote, quote, there are about 60 descendants of probable veteran status that have awaited disposition for about a year as a result of personnel change in the Veterans Affairs Office and stringent identification / eligibility processes required by the VA. Cindy Van Bibber, really it says Bibber. Cindy Van Bibber, a VA spokesperson, said there's personnel changes every day, but that certainly doesn't take away from the service that we provide any veteran. Alright, the page just refreshed on me, people. Hang on, give me a sec. That just makes me sick. These people are fucking crazy. She says at no point did the city morgue contact the VA and tell them about that the bodies were piling up there. We definitely weren't contacted, or we would have had a service for the veteran. She added, Van Bibber said that the process to get a proper burial would take about 3 days, not a year and a half. So here we are, guys. There's a clip that goes along with it, but can't play it. So that just turns my stomach and just shows you exactly where in the hell this country is in terms of treating our brave guys that go over and supposedly fight for our country.
Right. And I found this other one too. It says former Obama advisor blames the VA scandal on the GOP. Most people would agree the VA needs more funding. This Republican Congress won't fund that. They'll fund tax breaks for oil companies, but they won't fund our veterans. Possibly revealing a new strategy to deflect any blame for the VA scandal away from the president, former senior advisor to Obama, David Plouffe, argued on ABC this week that the real problem is the Veterans Administration needs more money, but the GOP-held Congress would rather fund big oil. Sundays this week with George Stephanopoulos, I can't believe I can say his last name, guest host Martha Raddatz led the panel into a discussion of ideas to fix the VA scandal. Most of the panel discussed privatizing or some sort of hybrid of a government and private program. When the discussion reached former Obama political director David Plouffe, the solution was more money and fixing the GOP Congress. They're more interested in fixing Congress than in funding. You know, how much money do we give the Department of Defense and they can't even take care of veterans, burying the veterans? It's crazy.
Is that the end of that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the end of that. Oh, I'm sorry.
It went on, but it was more about Congress than it was about they always start out with like, oh, we got to do this, but then it always kind of ends up about how the president's not to blame.
Right. Yeah. It's the damn blame game. It's the same article as I just read, okay? Well, the morgue's blaming the VA. Now the VA is blaming the morgue. And, I guess Nancy Pelosi is now blaming Bush for, the VA scandal. So, you know what I mean? These assholes shuffle the blame off and then nobody really pays the piper. And this is how they do it. No one's held accountable. Yeah. No one's held accountable. So this is how it operates there. It's either in the interest of national security, we cannot go into that and it will not be talked about, or this department can blame the other department and that department can blame this department, and it's just blame shuffling. That's
all it ever comes down to.
So it's either those two things, and this is how it's been allowed to freaking operate forever. And I'm, for one, am just about freaking sick of it.
And you know, people accept that. People, I don't know what it is, they can't retain the information or what, or they just don't look for a closure to anything. Everything is just left up in the open, like Benghazi. Oh yeah, we're gonna investigate it. Well, that's like having the cops investigate the cops. You know what? You're never going to get an answer. No one's ever going to get fired.
Yeah.
And they all have their little speeches already prepared to throw it onto someone else, and then someone throws it onto someone else, and then before long, we'll go lose another airplane, and it'll send everybody's attention there.
Right, because in the words of the Hillary Clinton, I mean,
oh yeah, what does it matter?
What does it matter? Right, what does it matter anyway? It doesn't matter. So, it doesn't matter who gets the blame. It doesn't matter as long as it gets shoved under the rug and nobody has to pay the piper. And it's, what the hell is going to stop all this? This is like a train wreck, and the wall is within sight, and no one's saying anything about it. And it's just going to crash and burn, and, there's more crises to capitalize on, and...
Well, I think a lot of people are like I was quite a long time ago, but I would listen to speeches that politicians would make, and I would sit there and think, okay, I don't get it. They didn't answer the question, and why are they talking about this? And I was always confused. I thought it was me. I was thinking, well, maybe, I don't know, what language they're talking, but I always thought it was me. But yet, no, that's what their speeches are meant to do. They're meant to keep you confused and never seeking us into something. It's
called doublespeak.
Yeah, it is, and then you have people going, well, why do they want to go into Benghazi? That happened a long time ago. Excuse me, those people are still just as dead as they were a long time ago.
Right.
And, nobody is getting blamed for that. And that one soldier who went, man, that blows my mind, what was his name, Hicks, I think, that went against orders. He was told to stand down while he was listening to his friends die. And he went in there and saved some people. But did he get, held up, and honored like he should have been? No. I don't know what happened to him, but he probably got, he got fired. Or he got demoted, one or the other. Yeah, if you do good, you're going to be punished, period.
Oh, yeah, or killed.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is how it rolls. and the veterans are, supposed to be our buffer zone.
Well, we only honor them while they're over there. When they get back here, we don't have to honor them no more. We don't have to do anything for them because they're not over there fighting for our freedom anymore. It pisses me off.
I know, and they just, oh my god. So I don't, where the hell's the line in the sand? I mean, mine's been crossed quite some time ago, but yet I still sit here just bitching on a radio. You know what I mean? I mean, we're talking about it, we're bringing attention to it, that's great. But, really, what in the hell do we do? Everybody, it's just like that one article that I read earlier, that guy's like, well, what do we do about it? And everybody thinks that.
And that's where a lot of people are because they don't know what to do about it. I go out and I do things locally here, but I even get discouraged because, I see people involved, for the Monsanto March, there was a couple hundred people out, and that's more than we had last year, which is, encouraging. But, yeah, what do we do? What do we do? We can go, I go to town hall meetings, and I go out and support who I can, but change is going to be slow, and that's hard for me, I guess. It took us a long time to get here. It's not going to get solved overnight, but
no,
I do see more and more people waking up. I see more and more people realizing what is going on here. And so, we have a small window and we got to do something. But then I see bickering about things that don't matter, things that should not even be brought up, and centralize on getting out of this hole that we've let ourselves get put into.
Absolutely. I don't know. I'm kind of melancholy, you know what I mean? After reading that one about the morgue, what the hell do we say about that?
Yeah, it's hard not to get discouraged. It is, but...
With stories like that, it just... People don't have fucking souls anymore, man.
No empathy. until it happens to them, and then it's all important.
Yeah, exactly. Then, the world's gonna end if something bad happens to them. And that's the same with everybody. So, really, who needs to come down on this morgue and the VA? I think both of them should be punished. But
right, who's gonna be held responsible for piling those bodies, letting those bodies sit in there and rot?
So bad. And no one's gonna get a slap on the wrist or anything. I can almost guarantee it.
Yeah, and they interviewed this woman that I guess she's in charge of the VA and the burial and stuff. She goes, I don't understand it. She goes, the process to get them identified and buried, it only takes 3 days.
I don't know. I don't know. Who would let bodies sit in a morgue anyway? Who would allow that?
Out of sight, out of mind. They're in little refrigerator compartments, those drawers.
Yeah, but wouldn't you want to get them out of there? You'd think that you wouldn't really you'd want those things to be full. You'd want to empty them out as fast as possible. Isn't that like the job of a morgue?
Yeah, I would think.
It's just so disrespectful, and just the I don't know. People are, I don't even know anymore. I'm so, it shatters my, the hope. It totally shatters hope for that people can be human. We're all just becoming these calloused, robotic type individuals, and they're gonna win if we keep down this road, man.
Mm-hmm. There's this one, Adam Kinzinger, Republican of Illinois, appeared on CBS Face the Nation Sunday asking what took so long for the Department of Veterans Affairs to begin investigating the backlogs and secret waiting lists that have led to the deaths of 40 veterans. Kissinger told guest host Major Garrett, everything I hear from this administration, from politicians talking about it, and I'm acutely aware of the fact that I'm also a politician, is talking about in-depth studies, see what results are, and we need to figure out what is going on here and look at this and look at that. Meanwhile, while we're waiting for the results of studies, you have veterans that are waiting for care from the Veterans Administration. And that's true. Here we are off investigating, and the list still exists. Why aren't they going back to that list and getting all these people taken care of? No, they're gonna do studies, and they're gonna evaluate it, and they're gonna look, and they're gonna have committees to make sure it doesn't happen again. Well, what about what's going on right now with these people?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, come on. Folks need to realize that, if we don't take care of these guys when they come back as promised, bad things are going to happen. You know what I mean? It's fucked up. And it just breaks my heart.
Then it goes on. It says, he wants to see General Eric Sisniski step down, noting that he has been at the VA for 6 years and has not been able to get a grip on this. He adds that Sisniski has yet to show the level of outrage that he should. It's Kissinger, but it's spelled differently, labeled President Obama's press conference a repeat of rhetoric going back to 2007 and said it is time for a shakeup and for some real issues to be handled. He did praise the recent announcement by the VA that the veterans can now go to private doctors and hospitals to receive care, but he was quick to point out that he introduced a bill a year ago that leads the congressman to ask the question, what took so long? And to level charges of criminal neglect. This is not a new issue in terms of backlog, and it's not a new issue in terms of the fact that there were now secret waiting lists created, which in a whole other level of incompetency to the level of criminality. Garrett asked, is that something you are certain of or suspicious about? And he responded, well, I'm not a lawyer and I'm kind of proud of that, but at the same time, if you have somebody that created a fake waiting list in order to make their numbers look better, more interested in protecting their bonuses and their job in protecting those that have protected us, frankly, I think that is criminal negligence. For me, I think it's gone from incompetence. It is gone from incompetence. We were talking a year or 2 year backlog. That was incompetence. That was bureaucracy. That was something that we had to take a real strong approach on. But when it came to people have created fake waiting lists and veterans have died, I think that goes to the level of criminality. And that's where, as a prior senator was saying, the Department of Justice needs to get involved. The president has got to show some intense outrage. Right. It's not just a broken policy. These are criminals. These are murderers. Why are they not being charged with murder of every one of those vets that were on that list that have died?
Absolutely. But, I mean, we know that they're just going to keep rolling on because nobody's holding their feet to the fire.
And until they do, it will continue until we force them to actually press criminal charges, not just, reprimand them or give them a promotion. Criminal charges. Okay, who made the list? Who actually started this list? And I couldn't have been just one of the doctors in there. It was the doctor that blew the whistle on him. But who started the list? I don't hear nothing about that.
Right. That's right.
And it couldn't have been just done by one person. So why aren't those people on trial? Why aren't those people being named?
Right. I mean, oh my God. Yeah, they couldn't get there, but magically, just, somebody had to type their names in there.
Mm-hmm. Someone had to be, set it up, and all for numbers. Can you imagine people's lives, people dying? What if it was your husband or your son and you found out he died so their numbers could look good?
Right. Absolutely. This is really, I think we blew the wad on the, on reading that one story too early. That's alright. We're going down a road, people, that I don't want to go down. I really, really don't.
But how many things like this have to happen?
Right, yeah, absolutely.
The masses. We need the masses. We have the people.
But there's none. There's none. There was only a couple of, who attended the memorial service. It was just those few little, you can count them on one hand, volunteers going.
Oh yeah, at the Riverside prison.
But that's how much people care. So what in the hell is the matter with this freaking society?
What about these families? Do they even know that their son or husband have been identified? I mean, they said, they're sitting there, some of them waiting to be identified and to make sure that they deserve to be buried there. So their bodies just sit and rot.
Yeah, man. This is painful to be talking about this kind of stuff, but it has to be addressed because...
Yeah, people need to bring this on a personal level.
Yeah.
Empathy, people. What if it was your son or your brother or your father? These people had family somewhere.
Right.
What about them? It's just sad.
It is. It's so... They've been... the government's just been treating the vets like trash.
Mm-hmm.
Throw them out, so what? Recycle them and then throw them out when they're, outlive their usefulness. They're using these guys as cannon fodder.
Mm-hmm.
And,
what was it Kissinger said about our military? They don't matter, they're just there to serve their purpose.
Right. Yeah. Kissinger called them cannon fodder. Absolutely.
There you go. Yeah.
And this is the mindset of these bastards. And
you know what my dream would be? I mean, and I have dreamt of this too before. That our military just said, okay, enough, and they all put down their guns. If they refuse to pull the trigger, we could have no more wars. None. Because what power did these guys have without our guys out there pulling the trigger? None.
That's right. Well, it's not, they're not even really going to be needing troops for too much longer anyway. I think this is where this is all going. They're going to be replaced by robots and drones. The soldier is going to become a thing of the past, and I think this is why this is the start to that process, is treating the vets like garbage and, not caring for them when they come in, because, you know what, we don't need you anymore. That's pretty much the message that they're sending out. If there was like a message to be gotten from the government in terms of their attitude towards these guys, and these men and women, you're obsolete now. Pretty much. I mean, wouldn't you say? I mean, would you agree to that?
Well, they'll always need some military out there, but, and it's going to be a while before the robot can take, I don't know. It's just, what is the answer other than don't join and don't pull the trigger? Refuse to become the animals that they want to make you into.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Like we said at the beginning of the show, they lie to these kids and they get them, dangling them into servitude. When they sign their name in that dotted line, you are the property of the U.S. government.
And then boot camp, they break you down completely and then rebuild you the way they want.
Right. And it's all mind control, and it's yeah. And then you're gonna pay for it at the end, and then when you come home after your tour of duty, you're still gonna be paying for it. I don't think humans are built really for when they get over there. I can't even imagine what it is to murder someone who has not done anything to you, that hasn't harmed your family or you, or done anything, and you've killed them. You've taken their life. That's got to have a big this is why
effect on you.
This is why they all suffer from PTSD. Because they're forced to go in here and just do this. And they're killing civilians right and left, believe me. Mm-hmm. That's not a secret or whatever.
No one keeps count of them.
It's terrible. I mean, it's just terrible what these poor guys have to go through. I can't even imagine. It's different. If you kill someone that harmed your family or hurt someone you loved or something, then okay. But to kill someone that you've never met, you know nothing about them, just because they're there, to take that life, no wonder they're all coming back messed up, because they're not defending our country. They're not there for our freedom. We're already freedom. It would make me sit and go, why am I here? Right. Well, they're defending the corporations. Because they're being sent over there by them and being funded by them, and you know what I mean? I mean, it's all... I feel bad for them. They were used. They were lied to.
And now we're treating them like criminals when they come back, because they train them to do this and everything. Then when they come back, they're going to punish them for what they trained them to do.
Right. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
Yay, Harley just went by me.
I heard that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know. The line in the sand was crossed a long time ago, I'm sure, with most everybody. And this crap has got to stop. I mean, how long are we just going to let this crap go on? This is horrible. It's horrible.
How many times have people said that to themselves?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I know. It's hard to talk about it for 2 straight hours.
All this, what a heartbreak it was. I mean, can you remember when you first discovered that we weren't the good guys? You know, like we've been taught all our lives, we were the good guys, and all these other countries were horrible because of they tortured our soldiers and they did this and that. And then you come to realize that we were the biggest bullies of all.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
People are around the world are looking at us in a totally different way now.
Right. And the people that are still, you know, a lot of our vets, you know, the older ones that were in World War II that are still alive and stuff, they still are brainwashed. They still believe I think they have to, you know, believe that they were really fighting in a war for good.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing. Now people are seeing, with all the damage we're doing in other countries, you have to ask yourself, have we been doing this all along?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And that's what gets me too when they say, I want to go defend my country, but get it through your heads, people. You are not defending this country. We have not been attacked.
All right, let me read this.
Okay.
All right. This might be something nice and good to read here, guys. Regardless of what you think about him, this might sum it up pretty well, I'd say. The VA scandal is just the tip of the military abuse iceberg. Has anyone in the administration or Congress ever considered that interventionism might be the real problem? And by that, you might be able to deduce fairly well that this article was written by Ron Paul. So I just think it's worth a read no matter what you think about him, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna read it anyway. Alright. President Obama held a press conference last week to express his outrage over the reports that the Veterans Administration was routinely delaying treatment to veterans, with some veterans even dying while on the alleged secret waiting list. The president said that if these allegations prove to be true, it is dishonorable, it is disgraceful, and I will not tolerate it, period. He vowed that, together with Congress, he would, quote, make sure they were doing it right by our veterans across the board, unquote. The president is right to be upset over the, yeah, he's really not upset, people. The president is right to be upset over the mistreatment of U.S. military veterans, especially those who return home with so many physical and mental injuries. Veterans should not be abused when they seek the treatment promised to them when they enlisted. But this outrage over military abuse is selective. He ignores the most egregious abuse that the U.S. Armed Forces, sending them off. He ignores the most egregious abuse of the military of the U.S. Armed Forces, sending them off to fight, become maimed, and die in endless conflicts overseas that have no connection to U.S. national security. It is ironic that the same week the president condemned the alleged mistreatment of veterans by the VA, he announced that he was sending 80 armed troops to Chad to help look for a group of girls kidnapped by the Nigerian Islamic organization Boko Haram. Is there any mistreatment worse than sending the U.S. military into a violent and unstable part of the world to conduct a search operation which is no way connected to the defense of the United States? As Judge Andrew Napolitano said last week, quote, feeling sorry for somebody is not a sufficient basis for sending American men and women into harm's way, unquote. Hell yeah, Judge Knapp. I love that dude. I love that dude, man. We are naturally upset over reports that Nigerian girls have been kidnapped by this armed Islamic organization. Unfortunately, cruel and unjust acts are committed worldwide on a regular basis. What the media is not reporting about this terrible situation, however, is that U.S. interventionism is that has itself strengthened Boko Haram and inadvertently may have even helped the kidnappers commit their crime. Back in early 2012, just months after the U.S.-led attack in Libya overthrew Gaddafi, and plunged the country into chaos, the UN issued a report warning about the proliferation of weapons that bombed out country. That's what it says. UN investigators found 8 months before the attack that killed the U.S. ambassador in Benghazi that, quote, some of the weapons could be sold to terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, Boko Haram, and other criminal organizations. That's what Benghazi was all about, arming the terrorists.
Right, the army, that was just a cover for, that's why they didn't go in and stop it.
Right, in the interest of national security. The U.S., NATO, and UN are guilty of creating the unrest currently engulfing much of northern Africa as they all pushed lies to promote an attack on Libya that destabilized the region. Now, the president is launching an intervention in Chad and Nigeria to solve the problems created by his own intervention in Libya. Yeah, this pattern is the same in places like the Ukraine, where the U.S.-backed coup in February has led to chaos and unrest that leads to even more intervention, including NATO's saber-rattling on the Russian border. Has anyone in the administration or Congress ever considered that interventionism might be the real problem? As Americans celebrate the Memorial Day holiday, we should remember that through the VA's alleged abuse and neglect of U.S. veterans is scandalous. The worst abuse comes from a president and a compliant Congress that send U.S. military to cause harm and to be harmed overseas in undeclared, unnecessary, and illegal interventions. The best way to honor the U.S. military is to honor the Constitution and to keep in mind the wise advice of our founding fathers to avoid all foreign interventionism. Amen to that.
Yeah.
That was damn well written, as Ron Paul is a statesman in my book.
Yeah, and he's so right. We don't have any business in any of these wars. And all we do, we go in, we cause the problem, then we come in and go, oh, we have the solution. Devastation for any country we go near. I don't blame North Korea for trying to arm themselves. I mean, look at what we do to every place we go.
Yeah, well, North Korea, I don't know about that.
Look,
I mean,
are we any better?
No, we're not better. We should just get the hell out of South Korea is what the deal is. And
bring everybody home and worry about ourselves.
Yeah, they need to be coming home. And we need to get out of Vietnam because we're still there too. You know what I mean? That's why there's still POWs there, is because literally there are bases, military bases there.
Right. Once we come to your country, we aren't leaving.
Right. They set up shop and they stake, they're doing that now there's troops that have been moved into the Baltic areas. I mean, we're just getting a foothold everywhere. And building. Little bases become the big bases. Temporary bases become permanent bases. You know what I mean? And this is how we've been operating for a long time now. And, it's, like Ron Paul's favorite word to this is freaking blowback. There's definitely going to be blowback to all this crap.
Well, and when it does come to a head, when enough countries have had enough, and there are some that can literally attack us now, we're bringing it all on ourselves. And, all those people that hate America, they hate you. They hate me. Just like people go, oh, I hate Al-Qaeda and they should kill these people. Well, guess who's saying that all over the world about us? You and me. And that's where bigotry and hate comes from is we are the people that we were supposed to hate, and each one of us are being blamed personally, just like we blame others personally for things their government does, not what the people do.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it makes me totally sick.
People that go over, like, to Europe and stuff, they don't even say they're American anymore. They say they're from Canada, because they're afraid.
Right. It's because of how the U.S. perceived throughout the world, and we haven't done a very good job of making relations better with people around the world. It's only started crazy insanity, like, I just read in the Ron Paul article. That's all we ever do is run around and stir shit up everywhere.
And look at what will we do if we do bring all the troops home? There's no jobs.
Exactly.
We're in trouble here, people. But people, they live their life. They go to work, they come home, they watch their TV, they go to work, they come home, they watch their TV, and they have no clue as to the hatred pointed towards them. Mm-hmm. They have no clue what is being done in their name. I wish there was some way to turn off every damn TV in this country. Because I love it when the power goes out.
Right.
I actually see people out in the street talking to each other. I see people laughing and communicating. I grew up seeing that in my neighborhoods. That's how it was every day of my life growing up. Everybody was outside. The kids were all playing. You walked into anyone's house in the neighborhood because the door was open and everybody cared about everybody. I see none of that now unless the power goes out.
Right. Some kind of tragedy has to happen in order for people to, which is really a sad state of affairs. I mean, this is kind of in the theme for today too. Where has the humanity gone? Where is the empathy? Where is love for
your
people? Yeah, people other than yourself. I mean, if you just run around this life just loving yourself, or loving those that love you, it's not going to work too well. You know what I mean? It's not going to work out for you that well.
Well, look, and that's the enemy of this government. Like, okay, there was two people. They were retired, and so they decided to feed all the homeless once a week in the park, okay? Mm-hmm. And, they made a lot of friends, and you'd see the long line. One day a week, they'd feed them. They went in, and those people now are banned from the park, and they are not allowed to feed anyone.
Yeah, and who the hell is saying that you can't feed them? It's the freaking, the judges and stuff ruled that, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's why I say love people. Go out and know people, smile at them, and learn that there are a lot of good people in this world. They just need some little coaxing to come out of the shells that they have gone into. Your government hates you. Otherwise, why wouldn't they allow people to feed you if you're hungry?
That's right. That's right, because they are the ones that have to control the food. They are the ones, you can't practice humanity anymore. Practicing humanity is going to become against the law ever more and more and more and more. So,
you want to make people afraid to help each other.
Right. And it's just a conditioned response.
And also they fined those people too, $300 and something.
Did they? Wow.
Just for feeding the homeless. They didn't take money from anyone, and the reason they weren't involved in the local agency. That was the main reason, because they didn't want citizens out helping citizens. They want them to go through the agency that is there to do that.
Right. Well, that's what I mean.
Doing. Yeah.
That's what I mean. They have to be the ones in control of this quote unquote food distribution process.
Or caring for people. I mean, that's why I say every day, love people. there's so many people. If you smile, I try and smile at everybody. I don't know if it came from working in retail or what, but I smile at everyone. And if they don't smile, I smile bigger. You know, I mean, a lot of them, you know, why are they smiling at me? But I also get a lot of smiles back, a lot of hellos, or how are you doing? And, you know, don't be afraid of people. They've made people to where they're almost afraid of people.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I you know, I walk down the street and people look away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or they'll look at the ground.
Yeah, and that's what happened. I mean, we're becoming a bunch of freaking crazy ass lunatic closet cases.
And they start it when you're young. Hey, anytime there's more than 3 or 4 teenagers standing together talking, it's not long before you see a cop car there. They want to know what they're doing. You know, these kids are just doing what we did. We used to hang out at the mall, all of us, and there was no problem. Now you get 4 kids together talking and laughing. Well, the cops will be there to find out just what they're up to.
Right, exactly. We used to hang out, too, in, like, the downtown areas, and, you know, we would cause trouble, though. You know what I mean?
But yeah, but you're not. I mean, that's what teenagers do. You rebel.
Right.
But we did, and I even used to help my daughter go out and do things like, you know, you're rebellious. So I say, instead of egging cars, which causes damage, which causes people money, why don't we just go out and toilet paper the neighborhood? All they gotta do is take it down. And I went out and helped them. And that, you know.
You went out and helped them?
Yeah, and the rule was if you get caught, you don't come over to my house. But, and things like that where you know, you gotta get that rebellion out. You've gotta do things, but you don't have to cause real harm to anybody.
Right, right.
You know, and all these kids are good kids down, you know, but get involved, you know, kids, think back. Stop and think how it was when you were a kid. And you had all these friends and you used to do stuff together. And now we're forcing kids inside. We're forcing them inside in front of a computer to entertain themselves instead of socializing with their peers. That's traumatic to me.
Right, right. And
yeah, and then they wonder why these kids go off shooting. Well, we have them on SSRIs, and they're not allowed to go out and communicate with their friends, so they sit and think about how horrible things is for them, and they have no way of venting it out, and so they go out and kill.
Right, just like this kid did in, where was it?
I think it was somewhere in California, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I don't really want to...
son. Yeah. You know, and you know that they're going to find out that there was SSRIs in there.
Oh, well, they are. He was being treated by multiple therapists.
There you go. You know, it's not about that. It's about we're destroying our kids. We're not allowing them to develop emotionally.
Right, and then after high school, they, like we've been saying all day, or all show, they go off and, you know, fight for these wars and, you know, become PTSD, and then they come back and then they're twice as messed up, you know.
Then they become cops. And so
and then they become cops, and then this is how the vicious cycle continues to roll. Because really, and I wanted to mention that earlier too, is that that's the only jobs when they're coming back from these wars is the security agencies, prison guards, you know, Whack-and Hut, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it's
Whack-and-Hut. And they're militarizing all police now, too, so that makes guys feel more at home and more able to do what they did over there.
Right. And so as these young people sitting in front of the televisions and playing video games and plugged into their computers, like, for hours and hours and hours and days and weeks on end, they go out into the real world and, oh my God, this is really developing a generation of complete zombies.
Mm-hmm.
Of people that don't give a crap about the homeless guy laying in the middle of the sidewalk. They just step right the hell over him.
Yeah. I mean, and you got to take time too to talk to young people. You know, I love young people. I love their music. I love their rebelliousness, and people look at a kid and think because he's got jewelry, piercing stuff, that it's a bad kid. It's not. I know a lot of them that are awake, that have piercings. It's just like leather jackets were bad. And hard. Give kids a chance to find themselves. That's what they're doing. Most of us turned out okay, but all our parents thought we were rock and roll and everything. We were horrible and we were bad, and
I do have a problem with the jackass that's running around with his pants hanging off his ass.
I think that's funny.
Well, it's not funny because in prison, in the prison systems, that means I'm ready to receive you, sir. Like, stick your wang up my butt, man. That's what it means in the prison system. And these dumb kids run around like that, with their pants. They don't know that that's what it means. I mean, it's like, dude, you're like telling everybody you're a homo. Is what that really means,
Maybe in prison, but out in the streets. I mean, I know kids. I have a friend whose son, I was there since the day he was born, and he's wearing his pants like that, and every chance I get around, I pull him down. I mean, it's just a fad. People put more into it than it is. It's a fad. It will be here for a while. It will go away. Just like all the other fads,
Well, I don't know. I have to disagree with that last statement because I am 47 years old and I consider myself a punk rocker. And when I was 18 years old and became a punk rocker, I knew it was like a bolt of lightning struck me, and I was like when I became awake.
You know what I mean? Person?
You're sure, absolutely. Anyway. But I listen to like thrasher, hardcore Detroit punk rock still, like driving in my car, and here's this 47-year-old woman listening to what? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I listen to rap in my car, and I have a real loud system in my car, and the people look at me funny because they expect a young kid when they pull up. But there's nothing wrong. But we're good people.
Yeah, but that wasn't a fad, and
that's music though.
Right, but the pants hanging off the butt, that's been around since like the early 90s. That hasn't gone away.
It's still a fad. You can't judge people by the way they dress or their outward appearance. I've always been rebellious in that. I've never gone along with dressing like everybody else or anything like that. I've always been like the oddball out because, the outer layers, how you dress or whatever is not the person inside. Get to know the person inside.
Right.
Get to know that kid on the inside. A lot of it is they do it to be accepted. A lot of it is that too.
Yeah.
So look deeper is what I say.
Yeah, that's just, I don't know, we gotta, somehow, somewhere, somehow, all of this horrible, vicious cycle has to be broken somewhere.
It's going to be the kids that are going to have to do it because we are all going to be dying off, and it's going to be their world.
Right, and look at the world that's getting ready to be set up for them. They're becoming drooling fools, in the corner. A lot of young
people are awake, though. I'm amazed sometimes at the knowledge of some of the kids.
Well, I hope so, because that's our only, hope for the future is that these kids, pull their heads out of their butts. And, a lot
of them are, there we go. We group them all into one. That's the problem with this country, too. In education and everything. We group people.
There's a lot of young people on this network that are totally kick-ass.
And when I go up to the state of Jefferson to their meetings and stuff, lots of young people. And on the board is lots of 20-year-olds. So there really are a lot of young people that are awake. But a lot of us don't talk to them because of their outer appearance.
Right, well, that, I never, judged like that. I just made the comment about the pants around.
I know,
but I just want to, go up to that dude and go, look, man, you really want to know what that means,
But I go up and pull him down.
Right? I don't know. It's, basically, we're, down in the last 5 here, and we kind of got off straight off the veterans topics, but
it all goes back to the veterans and wake up early to what we're doing to these guys that are out there, and in their hearts they think they're protecting us.
Yeah, and that's what kills me the most. I mean, these guys are all, I mean, the young guys now, they were, playing video games and watching TV too. So it's just this horrible cycle that happens, this vicious, terrible cycle. And Ron Paul's right. The interventionism is one of the catalysts behind this. And if you just take that out of the equation, really, a lot of problems would get solved in that respect of, but, the corporations want to keep us in these wars and they've got to keep us in constant state of crisis, so.
And fear.
And fear. And this is where we're at right now.
Yeah. Really so anyway, what else is coming up today?
Let's see. Let me get to it. We've got, at 1:00, we've got The Edge with John Stokes, and then at 3 is Jack Blood, and I think he said he was going to be live today, if I do remember correctly. 8:00, I'm sure Jimmy is going to be live with Boiler Room Radio. Then at 9, we've got Truth on the Tracks with Brandon Turbeville. Yay, Brandon. He's one of the young guys that are totally kick-ass on this network. And then another young guy, comes on at 11:00, Anti-Media Radio with Nick Burnaby. So, kudos to the young guys that are on here, speaking their minds, organizing the March Against Monsanto, which happened on Saturday. We didn't really cover it all. And kudos to you young guys who really are out there, the young men and women out there who really are trying to really help and do something in this world. So, my hat's off to you. My hat's off to the veterans that go and, fight for us.
Much love, yeah.
We want to change the system, and we need to make it better for you guys out there. Let me tell you. And so you're listening to UCY.TV, and stay tuned for the rest of the day's programming. It's going to be pretty darn good out there. And
if at the end of the month you find you have a couple bucks left over, hey, we could use it. Help us out.
Help us out.
$1 to $5. I mean, it'll help every little bit. But
it does. Even if you click on the sponsors and check the sponsors out that are on the page, give them a little peek and help out the network a little bit.
Right. So anyway, have a wonderful day, enjoy, and make sure you love people. They hate it.
That's right. Make sure you love people. They hate it. That was good.
Bye-bye.
Everybody take care, and we love you.